What's going on, guys? Welcome to Animal Anarchy, the show where we try and showcase to you the best and sometimes the worst of the animal kingdom we call our own. Today we are covering the African crested porcupine, the second heaviest of its genus, only beaten by the Cape porcupine. It is also the sixth heaviest rodent alive. You may know this prickly fella for putting predators in its place, but there is probably some things you haven't heard about them. So put on your sunscreen and grab a water skin as we are taking a trip throughout Africa and Italy to see how this spiky beauty resides. While there is no consensus of when the African crested porcupine was first found, it is safe to say that they have been around for thousands of years. One of the most famous references to them in historical literature was from Pliny the Elder, aka Gallus Plinius Secundus. Now, if any of you are big history fans, you may have heard of him, but for those that don't, he was a Roman author, naturalist, and naval commander who had an incredible thirst for knowledge, and so produced Naturalis Historia, a monumental work, which is often referred to as the first encyclopedia, and continued Pliny the Elder's legacy after his heroic death and display of altruism at Pompeii during the Mount Vesuvius eruption, which coincidentally put his lifetime work on a renowned platform. But to get back on track, as he believed the African crested porcupine could shoot their spikes like arrows and projectiles. But his belief in this, like many others, lived on, and it was not until the 20th century where the fact that this belief was false became widespread, due to an increased numbers of encounters with the species, and was then further decreased by improvements in education. The reason people believed in this for so long is because the quills came out so easily. What they didn't know is why, and the why is that they are made out of the same stuff our hair and nails are made out of. They are all made out of keratin. So like when you're in the shower and some hair falls out, it is similar to the African crested porcupine. They shed and they get rid of weak and old quills. Combine this with the fact those dangerous quills are only loosely attached to the skin, it is easy to see why people believed they were used as a projectile, especially when weapons such as bows were so prominent in these times. But in an ideal world, the African crested porcupine would not need these spiky daggers, as they are not a weapon, but a tool of self-preservation. But don't get it twisted, they still have plenty of suitors for their flesh, including, but not limited to, lions, leopards, and the crowned eagle. So it is good for them that they've adapted these quills to be particularly damaging. The quills are backward facing and are covered in microscopic barbs, which act like tiny hooks. The barbs allow the quill to penetrate deeply. Once embedded, the barbs flare out when pulled, which increases friction and makes the extraction incredibly difficult. You may have seen this with leopards on the street, and they take hours licking their wounds. The quills will inflict tremendous pain immediately, and longer term can inflict severe bacterial infections, which can lead to death as a result if left untreated. But the reason the African crested porcupine gets its name is the quills which run along the head and back can be raised into a crest. This makes them appear larger and showcases their threat to predators. They also highlight this through vibrating their quills to produce a hiss-like sound and stomp their feet to get ready for a backwards charge into the threat. And they have over 30,000 quills to their advantage. Now you know about their quills, let me tell you about their feet. They're completely naked, thick and padded. So not only are they built like off-road trucks, they have plantar-grade gait, which basically means they walk flat-footed, and this increases stability and mobility. The reason their paws are so important is that unlike their North American cousins, these porcupines don't climb trees and need to ensure they are well adapted to survive in the conditions they want, which can often mean travelling large distances for food alone at night, so they may as well have the best footwear available to them. This does come at the expense of speed, but as they feast at night, there are less predators to be concerned about. Then, ideally, after they return from a long night of munching roots, fruits, some insects, they would return home to their burrow, where their social group would be, which includes a monogamous partner and their children, where there's usually 1 or 2 per litter. Now, a final fact, and possibly the weirdest, in what these porcupines like to collect bones. There are 2 main reasons why they collect bones. First is that they are rodents, and rodents must keep chewing to keep their incisors sharp, and a bone is perfect for continuous chewing. And secondly, is that they can extract small amounts of calcium from each bone, essential for their own growth, specifically in their quills. The way they're able to chew on bones is that their whole facial structure and genetics allow them to, with large jaw muscles and large teeth that are specialised for abrasion. So while this fella might not be the biggest, the fastest, or the most dangerous, they sure know their niche, well adapted to survive, which is shown by their ranking of least concern on the IWCN Red List. So long may that continue.